All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring. We talk about backstage curtain calls, rumors, and drama. We also talk about superstar inactive statuses, injury updates, contract negotiations, extensions, and signings. We talk about promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor if it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling. We talk about it here on this show 1010%. So make sure you guys make sure you guys tune in. All right, it's gonna reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had our WWE SmackDown preview. We talked about my Thursday night wrestling review, Ring of Honor, TNA. And then we talked about NXT Halloween Havoc, and now we're going to talk about Mercedes Moné's top 5 fantasy matches. All right, so let's go ahead and dig on into it. In the latest issue of Monet Mag, Mercedes Moné named her top 5 fantasy opponents. Monet also took things a step further and explained why each match would be big for her personally. All right, so we should probably start at number 5. Should we start at number 5? All right, let's start at number 5. Number 5, she got Athena. I feel like Athena would kick her out. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Athena, and she basically said, they say, fantasies can't come true, only dreams can. On that note, a dream match would be against Athena. Only had 2 matches with her, but they have been multi-woman matches. I think she's an incredible talent. Like the others, I've never seen a woman do things that she's done before. She also has, she also seems to love it just as much as I do. I think if I'm given the chance and opportunity, we would have one of the greatest matches ever. And I do agree. I feel like that would be amazing for Mercedes Moné, mostly because Athena's amazing. She's great. I might be a little high on Athena more than Mercedes Moné, but both of these superstars, you know, they had they are that talented, and they were in WWE. Obviously, both in NXT, moving their way up to the main roster. But just kind of, I think these guys are the same age. I think they might be the same age, but it would be a great match. It'd be a great match. I feel like Mercedes Monet a little bit more finesse. Maybe obviously the submission, the bank statement. What was the bank statement? And then you have Athena who could absolutely dictate the tempo of like a ring general kind of thing. And she's pretty bulky. She's slender. Looks like she can, maybe bench press 350. I'm just kidding. No, maybe just maybe. You don't know at the end of the day. But having Athena have a match against Mercedes Monet, that would be pretty badass. At number 4, she says Mickie James, and she said this. What can I say? I loved her versus Trish Stratus' storylines. Growing up, I was so inspired by it. I never saw a woman's storyline that I liked. Basically, what made it even more incredible was that it lasted for an entire year, which seemed unheard of in terms of the women's division, which was actually kind of cool that she acknowledged that. They even had an amazing WrestleMania match. I was only a teenager then, but they truly inspired me. So Mickie makes the last for sure. Mickie James during her run, I gotta be honest, I was a Mickie James fan. I gotta be honest, I was. Especially during 2000 and late 2006, early 2007, where she kind of came in as this obsessed Trish Stratus fan. And it just made sense. It just made sense her knocking off Trish Stratus. But if you watch the Vince McMahon documentary, I guess Trish was ultimately punished by a spot she did not want to do, and Vince McMahon gave the championship to Mickie James during that spot. But they had good matches. They had good promos and stuff like that. Obviously, back in the day, it wasn't professional wrestling the one we have here in terms of the women's division as well. After the women's, revolution and the pre-women's revolution that a lot of people don't really, acknowledge. During the time where Trish, Victoria as well, and Lita and a couple other names. There was a point where they wanted to put on grade A matches, but with their trainer Finley, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna teach these girls how to do, basically do what the men do. But then WWE creative was like, you know what, no, they don't want to see the woman do that. Obviously, it just, it just kind of blew up from there, which was bad, which was really, really bad. But, kind of acknowledging Mickie James and how she made such an impact on WWE. I like that. I feel like Mickie James was highly underrated inside the WWE squared circle. I feel like once when she left WWE, not really truly appreciated. People still kind of contemplate on the rumors with her and the whole John Cena romance. That's the reason why, she kind of got canned. Right now, I think she's married to Nick Aldis. I think she is the WWE SmackDown general manager. I'm pretty sure. Like, don't quote me on that. Obviously, gotta fact check that one. But I don't know. Mickie James was always good for professional wrestling. She was, that she got her babyface spot where people actually loved her as a champion. She's I don't know if any of you guys heard her voice. She actually went to like, where she would like release the country music. Like I think it was a song or an album. I think it might have been an album, but it was actually pretty good. A multi-talented woman inside the ring. She was exciting to watch. She was very exciting to watch. And when her and Trish had their feud, it was absolutely phenomenal, like Mercedes Moné mentioned during this interview. So that would be an interesting match between her and Mickie James. All right, number three, we got Trish Stratus. Well, there's not much to say that Trish Stratus is absolutely amazing. Basically, one of the best women's wrestler of all time. She's in the WWE Hall of Fame. Not much of a surprise there as well. She endured a lot of BS. She endured a lot of BS, when she came into the WWE and then during this, with the storylines with Vince McMahon and her making out in front of Linda McMahon and when she was in a wheelchair, it was tough. It was a lot of tough spots that Trish Stratus ultimately felt like, at that point, you basically, you had to say yes to whatever Vince kind of wanted to do. And, Vince McMahon was willing to do anything in terms of the storyline. Absolutely anything. Cross any boundaries just to piss the fans off. And for the most part, it worked. It worked, but sometimes the way that, the degrading of women, it's like I said, that, wrestling back in the day, and I don't want to, don't really want to rub anybody the wrong way, but it was kind of bull crap. It was kind of bull crap, but at that point in time, it was like, okay, this is what you need to do to be successful. This is what you have to be like for Vince McMahon to, give you more television time, kind of structure a contract and a schedule that basically fits your needs. Like, you know what I mean? We're all working people. We're all working people where we go out, we make a living, we have to, make money for our family, we have to, roof over our head, food, we pay bills and stuff like that. So a lot of times these women's wrestlers were like, you know what? I got bills to pay. Why not? F it. Like screw it. Like whatever. Whatever. Like let's just do it. Let's make it happen. And I feel like everything that's happened with Trish Stratus and her career, definitely one of my most favorite wrestlers, women's wrestlers of all time, definitely got to be Trish Stratus. So that would be an interesting match. That would be a very interesting match. At number two, I got Kyoko Inoue, and she said this. She said, because I grew up watching Toyota, my second dream match would have to be one of the best opponents. Kyoko Inoue. She was a wrestler that I've looked up to, and when I see her wrestle, I am always in awe as well. And at number one, we have Manami. Dang it! All these. Oh God. I'm uncultured, guys. Okay, moving on. Manami Toyota. When I watched her, I was in awe. I could not believe a woman could wrestle like that or perform the way she performed, not to mention that she could do so in many matches that lasted 30 minutes or longer. She was way, way before her time in, my number in terms of the number one fantasy match. And, that could play for a lot of wrestlers. That could play for a lot of women's wrestlers that, Mercedes Moné mentioned during this list, and also probably a lot of them that were, kind of, not on this list, But overall, I feel like it was a great list. Mercedes Moné, the TBS champion, obviously, she's also the New Japan Women's Strong champion as well. So, she has a promising start in AEW. Obviously, she was signed back in March, where she I think it was Big Business. I think it was. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that, but I don't know. Just overall, it's just kind of cool to kind of get an insider Kind of get a wrestling's, perspective on exactly be like, oh, that'd be, because a lot of wrestling fans are like, oh, what's your top five matches? Who's on your Mount Rushmore wrestlers. So it's always cool to kind of see from a different perspective as well. All right, so now we're going to move on to our fifth and final segment. Going to talk about some Friday night wrestling news. We're going to round that up when we return. So, hey, do not go anywhere.